Stevon A. Booker.
He was born in Detroit, Michigan. Then we moved to Redtown and later to Apollo.
He was a good child. I never had any trouble with him. He was a typical little boy. And as he was growing up, had lots of friends. He was well liked. Everybody loved Kim and Steve. He was a people person. The day that he graduated, I was proud of him.
He was just kind of one of those people that just told you, this is happening, it's happening today, and that's it. That's just how he was.
After he graduated high school, he joined the Army.
I think it made him the person he was, that everybody was proud of. It made him proud. I mean, it made everybody proud of him when he came back from the military. It was completely different than when he was as a child and when he came back from the military. Very confident, sure of himself, very mature.
In 2002, he deployed to Kuwait.
The day we crossed the berm into Iraq for what became known as Operation Iraqi Freedom was our 6-month anniversary of being in theater. And it was as we were clearing objective rams that we made our first significant enemy contact. It wasn't a complicated maneuver because, again, we were going to fight our way up a highway.
And the movement of the other Republican Guard forces to reinforce them, those are their concerns because obviously that's the force that they're planning on confronting.
The Americans continue to launch the MLRS rockets, the multiple launch rocket systems, which we've seen firing 30, 40, 50 times in the last several hours, some at very, very close range to attack Iraqi positions closer into the city.
So on the 4th of April, the mission called for 1 battalion task force. 164 Armor was chosen for that mission. But we would move out at first light on the 5th of April and fight our way up Highway 8. As soon as we crossed through the minefield, we came into contact with the enemy forces. But I received traffic on the net, very, very calm. Red 4, or Black 6, this is Red 4. Red 3 has been hit. And Sergeant Booker is probably the last guy you would think of getting hit by enemy fire. Sergeant Booker had, like a lot of tank commanders, had been leaning out of his commander's hatch, and he was covering the backside of his vehicle with his M4. And he was shooting at enemy dismounts on the side of the road, protecting his crew. And it was while he was exposed, shooting at the enemy, that he was struck. Sergeant Booker he's the tank commander that, was always looking out for and training others. So it was a bit of a shock as I hear, hey, Red 3's been hit.
I remember hearing it come across the net, to come in. And I remember Captain Helms, I think he asked him to repeat it once or twice, because they said Red 3. He said, say again, It's like, I swear I heard it repeated. I think just sitting there in that turret in the gunner station, it sounded like I heard it on repeat. I just kept hearing Red 3, Red 3. And, I felt the XO. I was a gun on the XO's tank, and he kind of reached down and put his hand on my shoulder. But, the training kicked in. Everything he taught me, I did sit there. I paused for a good minute. I was just in a zone, but then, that training kicked back in.
You watch him work in combat, and you're like, that guy's amazing. And just to see someone of his caliber doing what he was doing, it puts you at ease about everything that you're doing, and lets you know that it's going to be okay. When he walked into the room, he was the loudest one in the room. He was the focal point of the room. He would own the room when he walked in. We get to the airport, and that mouth is not there. That voice is not there. The guy that you've looked up to is not there. And the looks, the 1,000-mile stare on people's faces, these boys, these young men like I was that just came through something horrific. We were all just hugging each other, and it just almost seemed, just surreal.
Staff Sergeant Booker was extremely proficient tank commander. He had countless NTC rotations under his belt as either a gunner or a tank commander. As a tank commander, he had probably shot a dozen gunneries. He had this volume of knowledge and experience that was unmatched within the company and across the task force. And he was one of my best leaders within the company. He was awarded the Silver Star posthumously in 2003. But the fact that our leadership would go back and review the witness statements from that day, to look at the witness statements characterizing his actions, and sees fit that his actions are worthy of the Distinguished Service Cross, it means a lot to everybody that served in Task Force 164 Armor and everybody in the 3rd Infantry Division during that period. You know, here we are 16 years later. I can't tell you how happy it makes me feel and how much joy it gives me.
And it means a lot to me to have someone say that my son is a hero. And I always say, even like now for this event, I say, this is not about me, it's about Steve. And he didn't only die for the Booker family, but he died for the world.